guys, I'm back, and I am excited because we are going to finish separation anxiety. How did you like last week's guest? Did y'all like that? That lady was a wealth of knowledge. I cannot wait to have her back on. I appreciate her coming in. That's the first time we ever met, and we had a great time. So separation anxiety, I want to get this thing done. I want to get it finished. But let's look at where we've been, because this is now what, week 5 of this? Man, we've been going for a while. So I'm ready to finish separation anxiety, but I want to look at where we've been. So weeks 1 and 2, what we did is I went and we dove into the VCA Animal Hospital's website. So you guys can go look it up. I've put these pages up before. It's vcaanimalhospitals.com. It's coming right off their webpage. So I just want you guys to understand this is directly what they're giving the people. This is a sponsored page when you search separation anxiety. And I'll probably continue to use this as we go into other behavioral issues, marking territory, aggression, reactivity. And then we're going to continue to do this stuff. I need to get you guys the real information of what's going on. Now, on that website, they had 21 pages of a complete waste of time for you and me. And what's sad is it took me 2 hours to get through, but it was a complete waste of time. Now, at the end of 21 pages, my conclusion is that the authors of this paper have absolutely zero clue of what separation anxiety is. If they truly understood what separation anxiety was, they should be able to tell me, 1, what is the cause, thus knowing the cause, 2, how to fix said cause. Well, in 21 pages, didn't happen. So we're going to get, and I'm going to show you as close as we can to how it looked, what their cause and effect was, and how to fix. So let's first off, we're going to look at our pick 1, and let's look at our authors, okay? Because these are the people that are giving you this information. So in pick 1, we have our authors. Now, this is Greg and Deborah, whatever her name is. But I want you to understand this. You see all those letters? Pretty impressive, isn't it? Look at Gary. Not Greg, it's Gary, my bad. Why I call him Greg? He could be a Greg for all I know. But Deborah and Gary. Gary is a badass. Look at this son of a bitch. DVM, DACVB, and a BECAWBM. Did I just take a fucking eye test? Holy shit. That's pretty amazing. This guy must be maybe the smartest man in the entire world when it comes to dogs. So these are our authors, okay? And they're obviously super intelligent because they've got all those letters after their names. Now, if you look at my business card, all my business card is going to say is Master Trainer Behavioral Specialist. Maybe I should abbreviate all that and make it letters and no one knows what they are, but I could tell it would look really oppressive, right? All right. So based on them, we're going to do this all based off their work. We're going to go through it fast, and then we're going to get to the good stuff. What causes separation anxiety? So pick 2, we will throw that up on the screen. Now, pick 2 is going to say separation anxiety describes dogs that usually are overly attached or dependent on a family member. Okay, so that's what it is. We have an overly dependent dog on a family member or the family, whatever. So over-dependency or attachment to human is what's causing my separation anxiety. This is the best we can get. This is what they're telling us. All right. So, Deborah, Gary, I hate to tell you this, but you ain't even on the board. You are so far off on this, it's not even registering. You may have a ton of letters behind your name and credentials and academia behind you, but this is what I want to know. How many dogs have you trained? How many dogs have you sat down and actually trained from start to finish in the home and watched the process and understood the process? Yeah, that's the goose egg. So understand, you don't know what you're talking about. You shouldn't be telling all the people in the world this is how you fix something. So that's my problem. I have this dependency. So what was their, Gary and Deborah's, idea to fix this? Well, let's look at what they told us we're going to do. So we're going to take a look at our next pick. And they are going to tell us the steps you need to follow are. Okay, now you can go to the website and you can pull all this up and look at it. I'm going to paraphrase it for you. So what they are telling you to do, we have 5 steps that we're going to do. So these are the things that we are going to implement that is going to fix our separation anxiety. So that would assume if I need to implement it, that lack of is the cause. Let's keep this simple, people. Don't overthink this. I know they have academia behind them, but listen, if this is the fix, it must be because if we're going to implement this in, the reason we're implementing this is so that we can fix it because it wasn't there before. So here are the 5 steps that they want to give us so that we should do this, okay? So we are going to have a predictable routine. We are going to do environmental enrichments to include social enrichments, play enrichment, exercise enrichment, training enrichment, and bathroom. Okay, so environmental enrichments have 5 things inside of them we need to worry about. Okay, 3, predictable reward protocol. Yes, got to have that. 4, train the settle. Because you have all sorts of time, right? Because we got time while we're doing our 5 enrichment things, plus we're worried about our 30-minute protocol on our stay. We have time to go ahead and train the settle. Got it. And develop an area or surface of relaxation. So, Mom, Dad, I know you don't have a spa in your house. You don't have a red bed. You don't have, a massage table. But let's make sure we provide a spa-like environment for our dog. Got it. So we're going to implement these things. Great. That's maybe doable, a lot of that, right? But let's not forget, Deborah and Gary have more helpful tips for us. Now, remember, these are some of these things that they talked about that will help us through this process. We can hire a dog sitter. Feasible. How about take the dog to work? Oh, that's my favorite. Let's just take the dog to work. Not a big deal. How about have a friend come over and watch your dog? Because I'm sure all your friends don't work. They just sit at the house, collect welfare and do nothing. Or we can just board the dog. Board the dog. More money out of your pocket. It's not going to fix the problem. All it's doing is procrastinating fixing the problem. And if worst case scenario, how about we just take the dog to work? Because everybody's dog can go to work, right? Deborah, Gary. Whoa. Wait, they had more helpful tips for us. Here's some more fixes for you. Now, to be preventable and help the dog have less anxiety as you start to leave, let's make sure we don't do any of these things in front of your dog. Because your dog might get some anxiety from you doing these things. Don't brush your teeth in front of your dog. Don't grab your keys in front of your dog. Don't grab your purse. Don't grab your book bag. Don't grab your briefcase. Don't put on your work clothes in front of your dog. Change your whole morning routine based on your dog. Fabulous. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Deborah. Got a lot of stuff I need to implement here. Hope I have time and money to do so. But no. Wait. Deborah and Gary have more. They dug deep in their academia to find these things that are definitely going to help you fix your dog's separation anxiety. Nuggets of gold just for you and your dog. How about this? How about we just leave the house in pajamas and we'll change into our work clothes when we get to work? Great. This is fabulous. I'm sure that's going to work out well, right? And I don't know what some of you sleep in, but others, look out now. How about we have to pack our lunch and get our stuff ready the night before? Right? Not doing anything else. Kids, family, wife? No. My absolute all-time favorite nugget of gold from Deborah and Gray. Just park your car at the neighbor's house. Shit, pull it in their damn garage and park it in there so the rain don't get on it. But then your dog isn't going to know you're leaving. All things that are so practical. How many things have we listed so far? 20? 25 things? Shit, we haven't even got into retraining yet. Well, let's not forget about what Deborah and Gary want us to do when we leave. So there are now some steps like this is just pre-leaving, right? These are some steps that we can do before we leave. Leave your dog. You ready for this? Start writing this down. See if you can keep up. Peanut butter coated toy. How about a fresh rawhide? How about a toy stuffed with liver? Toy stuffed with dog food. Frozen dog treats. Frozen treats in the food bowl underneath the food. Ooh. Toys tightly stuffed with goodies. What's this, fucking Christmas? Toys of manipulation for food. Toys that maintain lengthy chewing. 2 or 3 favorite toys because one's not enough. Get him 2 or 3. And maybe some or all of your dog's food. How realistic is it? How realistic is any of this? Now, let's not forget, we are also supposed to be practicing the prolonged downstay. Go to your bed, relax, stay there longer and longer and longer. We got to work all that in too. But alas, we get to pick 4. And at the end of all of this, what does it say? Neither food nor second pet is likely to be useful in dogs that are too anxious. Why the fuck did you just give me all that information just at the end of it to have a disclaimer that says it's not going to work? That's what that is, people. Understand this right from the get-go. See the cop-out? It's because they know this shit ain't going to work. It is going to be less than successful. If I'm going to say less than 15% are even going to notice a change by doing this. And if they do, the dog did not have separation anxiety. That I can 1,000% tell you without a shadow of a doubt. All of this, all these things to do, I didn't even touch hardly at all on any of the training they wanted you to do. Remember, before you leave, you got to do 30 minutes of vigorous exercise, 30 minutes of like downtime and chew time. They are trying to put an extra hour in every morning for you. The time requirements are absolutely ridiculous of what they want you to do. And they're going to give you all of this crap, right? All of this stuff to do. And then at the end, their disclaimer is, hey, it might not work. It's likely not to work with dogs that are too anxious. What is too anxious? See how it's open-ended? See, it's all a money grab. It's all the most ridiculous bunch of bullshit in the entire world. If you can't see that, you are completely blind to the fact of what they're doing. They are dependent on a human, attached to the human, I mean. And I'm going to give you 45 things to do that make it impossible. Remember, I told you this. They're going to make it impossible for it to happen. There's no possible way people do those things. Zero possibility. If you have a family, if you are married, have a family, and have a job, it's bullshit that you can do even half of the things they told you that they wanted you to do. Therefore, the fault goes back on you. Not the trainer, it's on you. Because you didn't do everything they said to do. And even in the event that you did everything on their list for you to do, all 58,000 items, action items for you to fix separation anxiety, guess what? Food is likely not going to be used, it's not going to help on a dog that has too much anxiety. Well, why the fuck did you just do all that? See, there's their cop-out. Well, your dog just has too much anxiety. Well, what the hell do I do with a dog that has too much anxiety? They don't know because they ain't going to tell you. That's the end of it right there. It's absolutely insane, people. You just got to open your eyes and look at it. It's absolutely insane what they're telling you to do, the reason for it happening. Oh, it's just absolutely crazy. So, let's talk separation anxiety, and let's see if we can give you some sound points, action items that actually work. Now, how do I know these actually work? I deal with separation anxiety. I get a new separation anxiety client once a week. One a week. Okay? On average, I average 4 new clients a week. 4 new clients a week. That's not saying there might be 2 or 3 dogs in the home, but 4 clients, 4 receipts a week. I am in those homes. I view those dogs. I view them in the setting. I view them in their natural habitat, living with humans, and I see what's going on. And I will fix it. It is fixable if you know what's going on. Typical everyday separation anxiety is very simple to diagnose. Now, I will tell you there's 2 points that I always look at. Number one, I will guarantee you, these are going to be across the board. Every single solitary home that I go into with separation anxiety has 2 contributing factors. Number one, without a shadow of a doubt, that dog is fearful. 100% of the time, I have an unconfident dog. The dog is lacking confidence. Every home I go into, what I do is I grade the dog. To me, this is more important than breed of dog because breed of dog is so selective. I have high-end working dogs I work with that are on PDs, and I have backyard breeders who are nowhere close in the breeding as of the intelligence, the physical specimen of dog. None of that is even close. So I breed for me is kind of a secondary. Most important, inside of every litter, if I have 10 puppies, I have 10 different personalities. Not all 10 of those are going to be police dogs. Not all 10 of those are going to be service dogs. It's a personality thing. So the thing I look at is confidence level. I grade each and every dog. So I have a high point of 10, high confidence dog. I have a low point of 1, very fearful, scared dog, scared of its own shadow. And I have that average 5 dog. Okay? So when I go in to a dog, the first 2 or 3 minutes as I'm walking into the home, all I'm doing is taking this in. I'm looking at the dog, how it's interacting with me, body language positioning, what it's doing, if it's barking, if it's growling, if it's backing up, how mom and dad are interacting with the dog. Is it listening? Is it not listening? Blah, 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 blah. I'm reading this dog's personality. I want to know how confident are you? Here's the deal. All of my separation anxiety dogs, I will grade out between a 2.5 and a 3.5, 2.5 to 3.5. They are not even of average confidence. They are scaredy cats. They are chickens. They are worrywarts about everything. So what does that look like? Well, these dogs seem to come across dominant. I always ask the owners, what would you grade your dog? 10 high, 5 average, 1 low. Almost unequivocally, they're like, 5 or 6 easily, maybe even a 7. I said, what makes you say that? Well, boy, when we're out on walks and stuff, boy, he gets big. Someone comes to that door. You saw how he acted, Michael. I was like, yeah, but it's kind of funny, though. Like, you make a loud noise in another room, and he, like, jumps and runs the other way. Well, yeah, he does. Well, which one is he? Which is the true personality of the dog? And it's always a confusing thing for her. But these dogs tend to bark a lot. They got the big bark going on. They're acting big and bad. They bark at the front door. They bark at the window if passers come by. They hear an obscure noise. You didn't hear it, see it, smell it, but they did. They go off. These are the dogs that are barking and lunging at people and other dogs on walks. These dogs tend to look hyper, like they have a lot of energy. They're actually very busy. They're always into or doing something. All evening long, they go from person to person, making requests all night long, this person, that person, to mom, to dad, to the kids. Then they're up to the front door looking out the window. Someone coming down the street. Oh, I heard something in the backyard. They're running to the back, barking at something back there. These dogs likely often want in or want outside. They run outside, make a circle, bark a bunch, come back inside, make a request for you to get up and let them back inside. So this is that fearful dog. And I'm telling you, they're fearful. They are not confident. This is a fear-based response to stimulus. They are overreacting to it because they are not confident enough just to walk up and check it out. Therefore, they make a big scene. It's the same thing with my reactive dogs I'm on a walk. Those dogs are chicken shits. They are not big and bad. 99.9% of them are all chicken shits. They're like, woo, if I act big and bad, maybe they'll go away. Okay, so one, we have a fearful dog. Second component, always, 1,000% of the time, they're Velcro dogs. That dog is Velcroed to a person. Now, Gary and Deborah will have you believe that's the attachment. It's bullshit. I'm going to show you what it is. So, they always almost exclusively have one human that they attach to. Okay? Most commonly, it's mom. They will make the rounds, kids, front door, back door, dad, mom, plant. Stay there for a little while, and then they're at it again, back to mom, or whoever it is. I don't want to be sexist. I'm a sweet, nice guy. This is the person who can't take a shower by themselves. This is the person that can't go potty without the dog sitting in front of them, staring at them, making sure they don't fall in. They can't get dressed. They can't get undressed. They can't leave the house. They can't come into the house. The dog is always right there. It's Velcro to them. This is a dog that oftentimes sits on the human while they're watching TV and sleeps in bed curled up against that person. The Velcro dog is not a good thing. It's codependence. Always and forever, from 2005, when I went to the civilian side of dog training, to whenever the UFOs come and get us and take us away, you will have a fearful dog that is a Velcro dog. They always coexist with separation anxiety. So the fearful dog, let's start breaking things down. The fearful dog is not confident, but is attempting to control everything. Now, this is going to explain the barking, okay? So when dogs bark at a door, they're controlling who's coming in and out. They bark at the windows. There's people going by our property. We need to scare them away. When they go on walks, people approach or dogs approach, they're barking and pulling and lunging. They are attempting to control that. And that's all it's about, people. So the barking is them trying to control it, not having enough self-confidence just to let it play out and see how it goes. I can't just walk by the other dog and check it out. I have to make a big scene because I'm fearful that dog is going to come over here and be dominant over me and mom. The hyperactivity, what is that? Always moving, going from person to person, never seeming to be able to settle. This dog is constant. I have people all the time, man, that dog wants to play ball all night long, Michael. That dog, if I'm not paying attention to it, is barking at me, bringing me a toy, throwing me a toy. It's controlling you. It's making a request. You are honoring the request. That's all it is. Somebody is controlling something, and it's the dog. Making requests, pet me, play with me. Let me outside. I've had clients call me that are just like, hey, my dog has to go outside 10 times every night between 7 and 10 o'clock. What's the deal? I'm like, it's just controlling you. Can you stop it? Yeah. How long is it going to take? One lesson. That's all it is the dog is making those requests. It's in control. Now, in between all of this, they tend to always return or check on, guess who? That one Velcro person. Every time. Dum da dum da dum da dum. Mom. Okay, mom's good. Mom's good. Dun da dun da dun da dun. Mom. And by Velcroing to that person, they are in control of that person. That person cannot do anything without the dog in the middle of it. So just remember, all of the stuff that you go do, and that dog is Velcro to you, showering, pottying, changing, blah, 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 blah. Dog cooking, getting stuff ready for the kid. The dog is always right there. Okay? Understand that dogs are pack animals. I don't give 2 cents to a shit if you don't believe in a pack. I don't give 1 cent to a shit if you don't believe that there's not an alpha anymore, because it's all bullshit. Every day I see it. Every day I work with it. Every day I deal with it. It is true. It is real, and it happens. Now, you could play around with your hot dogs and your stuffed toys and your peanut butter and have fun with it, but you're never going to accomplish what you want to do. Every pack has got to have an alpha. If you don't like the word alpha, change it. A leader, a manager, someone in fucking charge. And let me explain it. If it ain't you, guess who it is? Yup, it's Fluffy. The dog is in control. Now, you do realize that the alpha dog has responsibilities, right? Well, sure, the alpha's in control, but what is one of the primary duties of the alpha and the pack? If the alpha is, just run with me, just in case I'm right. Just on that offshoot that the letters behind my name are big enough to support what I'm saying, let's just look at it. If that dog is the alpha, what are its responsibilities? Why does it act the way it does? What is its job? Its job, partially, is to protect the pack. Safety of pack. Who fights the fights? The alpha. Who protects and makes sure the other dogs don't run up on its pack? The alpha. Have you guys not seen some of the videos I've shown you? Remember the shepherds? There's two shepherds, and there's like a little, I think it's a little white cattle dog. And that male shepherd is just going at this little dog. And the little dog is stressed out. It is pissed. And the shepherd's just fucking with it. And all of a sudden, the female shepherd comes in and just lays into him. And he sleeks off and then rolls over and gives her all the, oh, my bad. The alpha stepped in and said, enough fuckery, we're done. And you got to understand that. That is exactly how it works in the real world. So, this is why the dog barks aggressively at the door, at the windows, obscure noises, or on a walk with people or other dogs. It is trying to protect you and keep away everything so that you are safe. You have put the dog in that position. Why does it appear hyper? The hyperactivity is continually checking on its pack. Are the kids okay? Is dad okay? Is mom okay? Is the front yard okay? Is the backyard okay? That explains. See how I started to explain this for what it really is? Gary and Deborah had nothing for this. Making requests. Why do these dogs constantly make requests? To play, to go outside, to throw the ball, to play tug, because it's control. They are making the requests. You are honoring the request. What does that mean? They are in control. They're asking, you're given. It's all about control. It's all about who is in charge. Being the alpha, this is what the dog recognizes, that there is someone in the pack who is at the bottom. That one is the weakest dog. That dog is less capable than the other dogs. So what that means is, as the alpha, I need to provide you with more protection. I need to provide you with more structure, more boundaries. I need to tell you what to do on the regular and control everything you do, or otherwise you shall perish because you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. This is how the dog thinks. This is who your dog Velcros to. A lot of people tell me, oh, the dog just loves me more. No, you're the path of least resistance. You're the easiest one to get over on. And every time I go to you, I can get what I want. Now, remember, we're talking about the confidence level of a dog, right? So, my dog, I'm telling you right now, is a 2.5 to 3.5 on the confidence level. However, it's above you in its own mind. It's ahead of you in the pecking order. It is in charge. because it's above you, what does the dog think about you? Yeah, you, the person the dog's Velcro to. How does your dog grade you? What are you, a 1.5? A 1? The dog does not think much of your ability to take care of yourself, let alone provide protection for the pack. You want to take the anxiety away? Do you? Because you can do it. I do it every day. Go to my Facebook page, Canine Control TX. Just plug it all in, no spaces. Canine Control TX. Click on the head of the German Shepherd. I got people who will tell you, sit there, one lesson. Oh, God, Michael, my dog it's not even the same dog. He just looks relaxed. It's crazy. Take the anxiety away by how? How? Take control of the pack. Someone's got to be in control. Might as well be you. To take control of the pack, you have to take control of that alpha dog. You have to assume that position. You have to knock the dog out of that position. It can no longer be the one in charge. You have to be. Well, let's even back it up. I'll give you more. How did a dog with a 2.5 to 3.5 personality and confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, 2.5 to 3.5, how did it assume a position of authority over you? Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's an answer for that. I can tell you how. I can tell you why. So, very simply put, all of your coddling, all of your spoiling your dog and making all these fucking adjustments because you think that's what your dog wants is ruining your dog. Gary and Deborah not once would have told you to correct your dog. How the fuck your dog know it's doing something wrong if you never tell it it can't do that? You ever thought about how simple that would be? If I just told you, no, you can't do that, that's a bad thing to be doing right now, and the dog goes, oh, okay. Maybe they don't train smart dogs. Maybe they just train dumb ones, right? Just tell your dog it can't do something. It'll change its behavior. You set yourself up for failure. All of the nudging, the bumping, the pushing, the pawing, the leaning, the running between your legs, the bumping you with the butt when they run by, cutting you off when you walk, you almost trip over your dog, stopping in front of you, you have to walk around your dog, scratching at doors, barking and answering your door, bringing you a toy and telling you to play and it does, you going to the dog and giving it free pets, it walking out the door in front of you, it leading on a walk and controlling a walk. Don't give a shit about your sniff walks. They're screwing you up. Those are all your dog's wins. Dogs do not look at you individually and look at you and go, oh, it's a human. Mama dog told me about a human and how you act and do things. I understand. No, your dog looks at you and goes, you are a funny looking dog, and I'm going to treat you the only way I know how, like a dog. All of those things I mentioned are how dogs interact. It's how they play. It's how they establish and maintain a pecking order. Plain and simple. That's all that is. So all of those things that you do, you're losing. Your dog is going to bed with 300 or 400 wins. All those little things I mentioned, 300 or 400 of those a day. You're going to bed with 3 or 4. That dog is taking all of your love and kindness as a weakness and an inability to control and protect the pack. That's all it is. Let me break this down for you in a way that makes sense. Do you really want to know what separation anxiety is? That makes sense in your human brain? Because this is how this works. This is me giving you separation anxiety in a way the dog thinks about it. All of you parents, I want you to picture you having a 5-year-old. Whether you're going to have one someday or you had one back in the day, you have a 5-year-old child. and I'm at your house and I'm working with your dog. And all of a sudden I go, hey, Jimmy, come here, buddy. Mr. Michael's really thirsty. Now I got a $20 bill. I'm going to give you this 20, and I want you to, the little 7-Eleven right down a couple blocks from your house where you guys stop and get hot chocolate in the morning? Yeah, I know it. I'm going to give you this 20, and what I want you to do is I want you to walk over there and get me a Coke. But you know what? With all that money that's left, you can get whatever you want. Candy, chocolate, chips. Get yourself a Bang energy drink. I don't care, Jimmy. It's whatever you want. And Jimmy takes that money, and I walk him to the front door, and I open the front door, and I push little Jimmy out, and then I shut the door, and I stand in front of that door, and I don't let you get to your child. And you watch him walk down that street out your front window out of sight. And now Jimmy's gone. Who's going to have the anxiety? Little Jimmy or mommy? Little Jimmy don't give a rat's ass. He's like, I'm getting chocolate. And I know where the 7-Eleven is. Let's go. Mom is going to have anxiety. Do you think mom might scratch and claw and become destructive trying to get out that door to get to Jimmy? Do you think she might start to I don't know, what the dog does, salivates and freaks out and shivers and shakes? Do you think mom might become so concerned with her child's safety that she becomes ill and sick? Oh, yeah. 100%. See, Jimmy doesn't have separation anxiety. He could care less. Mom does, because why? Whose responsibility to protect Jimmy? Whose responsibility is that? It's mom's, right? Oh, you kind of get it now? That's what the dog is doing when you leave. You are so weak, you are so unable to provide for yourself that I, the dog, have to get to you so that I can protect you. Because you will surely die out there. Let me ask you this. Do you love your dog enough to assume and take that anxiety away from it? Do you really love it enough? Do you love it enough to actually step up and take control and tell your dog it can't do some shit that it's doing right now? Do you love your dog enough to give it some tough love? We are in a place where everything is just let it go, let it happen. It's all about feelings. It's not, people. Grow the fuck up and pay attention. It is not, you just can't let everybody do whatever they want and it's going to be okay. We as a society are the loosest, most lack of discipline that we have seen since this country was created. And we have by far the most damn anxiety and suicide and bullshit going on, all because no one wants to control anything. No one wants to be in charge. And it's all because it's mean and evil. It is not. I have harped on this for weeks. It is not. If you're going to be successful, you better understand either you're in control or you have a boss that's in control of you. Control is not a bad thing unless it's wielded evilly upon something. One day, 24 hours of redefining your relationship with your dog can completely end separation anxiety. Our guest last week said the same thing. I have stopped more separation anxiety in one visit than I can count. I will at least promise you without a shadow of a doubt, I will eliminate it by 85% with one visit. Would you take that? If your dog was 85% less stressed? But here's the deal. You have to be in control. You're not going to food it into doing the right thing. You're not going to peanut butter toy it into doing the right thing. You're not going to teach it settle and it be settled while you're gone for 9 hours out of the day. That has shit to do with what we're talking about. It is absolutely incorrect. because you have never addressed the problem. What's that problem? Lack of leadership. Control. You have to have structure. You have to have boundaries. You have to have consequences for bad behavior. The control has to come from you. Plain and simple. Your lack of control is why your dog has separation anxiety. Your inability to tell your dog no. Your inability to have a consequence for a bad behavior. Your inability to give Fluffy what it needs, not what the hell you think she wants. Buck up, people. The nudging, the bumping, the pushing, it's all wins. It's not your dog loving you, the jumping on you, the pawing on you, the telling you what to do. Your dog is literally going to bed with 300 or 400 wins. Every single day you're going to bed with 3 or 4. So how do you stop that? What are we going to do to stop that? Great question. Why? What? Well, let's start by telling your dog what you don't want it to do. Well, that's a novel idea. Hey, Gary, Deborah, why don't you tell your dog what it's doing is wrong? There must be correction. Do I need to pull up like all the videos that show all the correction? Go back and watch the videos. Go back and watch the podcast. I've got video after video after video of dogs correcting other dogs. It's simple. What we're going to do is we're going to use a correction collar. Now, I like a pinch collar. Why do I like a pinch collar? I like the Herm Springers. That's actually the original design maker of the pinch collar, the Springer pinch collars. Designed to feel like a dog nipping another dog on the neck. That's why the Springer teeth go in opposite directions as they come together. And understand this, proper correction, it's not a pressure hold. Never a pressure hold. It's a pressure release. You pop a collar. You pump the collar. You don't hold a correction. That's crucial. So proper correction is crucial in a way the dog understands. So if I'm having these little issues in my home, the nudging, the bumping, the pushing, the pawing, the leaning, the getting on my couch, the barking and answering the door, this is what I would do. I would get a Herm Springer pinch collar. I would slap it on that dog, and then I would buy the little hand. It's a hand. All it is a handle with a clasp, hooks right onto that collar. Your dog wears it everywhere it goes. Super simple. It's not dragging. It's not annoying. It's not in the way. But guess what? Every time that dog screws up, I'm going to give it a big no, and I'm going to pop that collar. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to say a hard no, and I'm going to pop that collar. Now, let's say the dog has a paw on me. I'm going to say no, pop the collar, and wait 2 or 3 seconds. I'm going to see how the dog responds to that correction. If the dog's paw stays on my leg, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to say no, and guess what? I'm going to correct a little louder and a little firmer. And then I'm going to wait 2 or 3 seconds to see what the dog does. And I'm going to keep repeating that, and I'm going to escalate that until my dog chooses to change behavior. Here's the deal, people. I am not going to force a behavior change. I'm going to correct, and you will literally see your dog take its foot and go and set it on the ground. And at that moment, when that paw hits the ground, you grab Fluffy and go, "This is such a good girl. Good job, Fluffy." You praise the dog for the change of behavior. You have to do that with every bad behavior. If you eliminate all the dog's bad behaviors, what are you left with? Simplicity, good behaviors. So I don't care what it is, rushing the door, barking. I need the first thing the dog to understand is what it's doing is wrong. Why the fuck can't you tell a dog no these days? Why can't you do that? You tell your children no. I hope you do. If not, I know you people. I've been in houses. Good luck with those kids when they turn 16, 17, 18. You have a consequence if you don't do your job. You have a consequence if you don't change your oil. You have a consequence if you speed. You have a consequence if you do something stupid. Why can't a dog? Besides that, that's how they do life. I have never seen a dog make a spa for another dog. You look anxious today. Let me fluff your pillow and put a little lavender on there. Turn some music on for you, sweetie. I have seen dogs correct each other. And they do it by growling, snapping, and then fighting. Fighting being the end result of you not listening and me getting pissed off and finally finishing it. But that growling and snapping, that's what my no is. That's what popping, just a little pressure on the neck. That's it. But that has consequence that makes the dog say, well, dang, if that's going to happen every time, maybe I need to change. Correction is explaining to the dog what it cannot do. First and foremost, it needs to understand what it can't do. If it doesn't have a consequence for a bad behavior, do you really think it's going to change behavior? Do you really think that's going to work? How long do you think that's going to take? Because I kid you not, without touching the dog, I've told you this, guys, hundreds of times. Without touching the dog, I can stop nudging, bumping, pushing, pawing, leaning, getting on the sofa, barking and rushing the door, set a 5 to 10 foot boundary. I can stop all of that in less than 5 or 6 minutes with never touching your dog. Never touching it. I don't even use a collar when I do it when I go in home. How does that happen? Because I told the dog not to do it. And guess what it says? Okay. And then when I take control, I become the leader. Guess what? Dog changes 95% of the things it does just like that. I'll do that. And then the owners go, well, I go, what else does your dog do? Attacks the vacuum. Get the vacuum out. I will run that vacuum right up to the dog. Dog will walk away and go get in its bed. Well, when I hit the ice machine, Michael, it comes and jumps on the refrigerator to get ice. Go load a cup up. Let's go. The dog, I don't even have to correct it anymore. The dog's already like, it ain't my ice. I'm done. I'm not going to the door. It's your door. You handle it. Correction will also, though, watch, establish a boundary around my Velcro person. All of a sudden, the nudging and the pawing and the pushing and the bringing you the toy, all of a sudden, that's going to stop. Because there's now a negative consequence for that bad behavior. This reset happens extremely fast, people. Within minutes. It happens for me every day, 5 to 6 minutes every day. I'm going to get done shooting this, and I'm going to go do it to a Labradoodle that's 12 months old, and the guy has had dogs his whole life, Dobies, all sorts of stuff. And he's like, dude, if you could stop all that in 5 to 6 minutes, I'll tip you really good. I'm like, great, Christmas is coming. I bet you $100 I'll leave with a tip. But you can do it if you stay consistent. That doesn't mean the dog will never challenge you with putting its paw on your leg again. That means when it does, it's seeing if that rule is still in play, if you are still going to correct. Are you still the leader? Are you still enforcing those rules? So that's going to break the Velcro part of it. It's going to fix that, I promise. Well, the other problem is that I've got a dog that's fearful. Oh my gosh, can correction help that too? Yep, a watch. So the only way I build confidence in my dog is that the dog actually trusts me to handle the situation that it's uncomfortable in. Again, go to my Facebook page. We talked about the cattle dog on some previous podcasts, the red cattle dog that tried to eat me like 2 or 3 times on the first visit. April 24th is when I started with them. They just had Thanksgiving at their house. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Sends me pictures of people petting the dog as it's rolled over on its belly. People free moving in and around their house. Guess what that dog wasn't doing anymore? Trying to kill people. Uh-oh. Why all of a sudden? Because he's a fearful dog. He wasn't worried about people coming to the house because his dad has control. The dog relinquished that control, the stress, the anxiety to dad. Dad let them in the house, and the dog goes, well, if dad said they're okay, I'm good with that. Dad's a good leader. I can trust dad. If the shit hits the fan, dad'll handle it. I don't have to. Oh, man, took that anxiety right out of that dog. Now, it's the same exact dog. The difference is I am managing that anxiety through my leadership. So once the dog trusts me as a good alpha, because at the end of the day, if that alpha gets pushed, they will get into a fight, right? If the snapping stops, rawr, 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 and eventually the dog doesn't change, the fight ensues. So if I play enough of the dog's game, no is my growl. No, it's my growl. Pop in the neck. It's the nip or the snap. The fourth one, because body language comes into it. Body language is always first. Body language, growl, snap, fight. That's a dog's communication cycle. I get big. I say no. I pop that lead. Well, if I convince the dog, and I'm playing the dog's game by not letting it sleep on my head at night and lay across my legs while I'm on the couch, and I'm actually playing the alpha dog and playing the dog rules, not the human rules, then when I start to take the dog out in public, it goes, you know what? I used to be worried about that, but now I'm not. I used to be worried about the person walking down the street, but you know what? I'm not. That's not my job. That's dad's. I'm just going to relax, let him do his job. Dad brings people into the pack. I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's dad's job. I don't have to rush to the door and get all crazy. All of a sudden, this dog, when I keep putting it out there and keep doing the same thing, and I start doing some, oh shit, repetition, the dog goes, you know what? I don't have to get all assed up when someone rings the doorbell. Dad's got it. I don't need to worry about the mom in the running stroller running by the front of the house every day. I don't have to worry about the pool guy. I don't have to worry about the lawn guy. Mom's got it. She's a good leader. I trust her. And the more repetitions I have, the more relaxed the dog becomes. The more relaxed the dog becomes, the more that becomes a normal behavior for the dog. I've installed new behaviors through repetition of positive experience. It's simplistic if you actually understand dogs. When you actually address why the dog has separation anxiety, you have the capability to fix it. I do this every day. Get assed up and mad because I use a pinch collar. I really don't care. Because my clients see immediate results, and I have not hurt the dog once. I don't even care if I get a little yelp out of him every now and then when I pull back on that collar. It's not a pain response. It's the same thing while you're at the kitchen washing your hands or doing dishes, and I come up behind you and poke you in the ribs, go, hey, and you go, ow. You're like, oh, shit. It didn't hurt. It's a response from being a sudden change, unexpected. You have to realize you've got to stop looking at these people with all these letters behind their name. And guess what? Someone go tell them. Go tell them what I said. Go tell Gary and Deborah what Michael is saying. Go tell Gary and Deborah, hey, there's this Michael guy, he's a trainer, just dissing you guys, talking shit about you. Go tell him. Let's have him on. I'll talk to him one-on-one all day long. And this is what's going to happen. I'll promise you this right now. They will bring in all of their case studies. That's what they'll bring in. Well, this study here, Michael, and this, You know what I'm going to bring in? I'm going to bring in that stack of receipts that goes up to here of all the dogs that I've trained. And I am going to put this on you right now. I know more about behavioral issues than those doctors will ever know in a million years because they haven't trained one fucking dog. Oh, I've got personal dogs pretty good, Michael. That personal dog wouldn't make my group class. I would kick it out. That personal dog of theirs is probably terrible. You guys got to stop falling for it. You've got to be simplistic. You've got to understand the dog. Why are we talking about food with everything? It's food, 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 food. The only thing food generally does in a dog pack is get someone in a fight. It is not the way to fix something. Retraining is not the way to fix something. Teaching a dog to settle instead of have anxiety is not fixing anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. They talked about retraining. What retraining? That means you trained it wrong. Well, no. So much of what they want you to believe based on those letters after their names, they want you to take as the absolute, no doubt about it, truth, 100% positive. That's all there is. They don't want you to look outside of that, yet they will not give you anything that's fixable. And remember, after all the shit that they told you to do, they still said, well, there's still a possibility it's likely not to work. So you have someone with all those letters that will tell you all this shit that you have to do that's impossible for a human to do. And then at the end of it, throw a disclaimer in there that says, if your dog has too much anxiety, none of this is likely to work. Not might not work. They said likely not to work. What? They legit told you likely, not a slim chance or a possibility of. They said it's likely not to work. What a fucking cop-out. Do you realize if I ran my business and I said, hey, I can train your dog. I can get to do anything you want me to do. No worries, no problems, anything. I won't touch your dog. I won't use an e-collar. I won't use a prong collar. Shit, I won't even use a leash. Really, Michael? Yeah, 100%, man. Just pay me my money. Now, your dog's likely not smart enough to do it, though. You going to hire me? Would you, anybody, would you trust anybody else? Hey, I'm a great heart surgeon. I've done this a million times. I can fix your heart. I can make it all better. I can make you feel a million times better. But it's only worked on about 3% of my patients. It's likely not to work. How is that even credible? How is it they can tell you all this stuff as matter of fact, and then at the end of it tell you it's likely not to work if your dog has too much anxiety? Do you realize that's the biggest cop-out in the world? I'm sitting here telling you I can fix it all in one visit, or at least eliminate it by 85%. If not, guess what? I won't make my client pay. I do it all the time. I run a special that says, if I can't stop these 15 things on lesson 1 in 5 to 6 minutes without touching your dog, you don't even have to pay me. I'll leave. Guess how many times I haven't been paid? 0. You have to open your eyes. You have to look for the truth that actually makes sense. You have to look beyond what they're showing you. You have to look in other areas where maybe you don't feel comfortable. But the end result is even if you don't feel comfortable, sometimes things have to happen if you want success. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving my child chemotherapy, but if it's going to save his life, guess what? I've got to do it. They have painted aversives as this evil thing. Oh my gosh, you shouldn't use this collar and that collar. We've got to the point where we're not even supposed to use kennels anymore. Kennels are aversive. Don't yell at your dog and tell it no. That doesn't make sense in reality. It doesn't fix things in reality. You don't have unlimited funds to have dog sitters and boarding. You don't have unlimited time to work your dog for an extra hour every morning, and then every evening come home and pack your lunch for tomorrow, plus be practicing your 30 to 45 to hour stays on the mat. It's unrealistic because it's designed to fail. It's a cop-out. And you've got all these trainers out here telling you, we can fix it, we can fix it. But then we are villainized because I'm going to put a pinch collar on your dog, or I'm going to put an e-collar on your dog. Look, you want to know what my goals are for 2025? I'm going to run a 70-dog group class. That's my goal. At one of these damn group classes that I run, I'm going to get 70 dogs there. I run a group class just for e-collars. So it's all off leash, and I want to run 25 dogs at a time, 100% off leash, no nothing, just completely off leash. And then I also do a reactive dog group class because I can, because no one else can. No one else puts 15 to 20 reactive dogs together and then we train. I do. You know why? Because I can. You know why I can? You want to know why? Because I understand dogs. I understand why they do it, what's going on in their brain, and it gives me the ability to fix the problem. You want to fix it? Fix it. It's easy. You just got to believe what you see and stop believing what all these academia is telling you. It's made it all the way to dog training, people. And I'm not taking a back seat. I'm not sitting down. I'm going to keep going. We're going to talk about marking territory. We're going to talk about reactivity. We're going to talk about aggression. We're going to go through it all, and we're going to see what this website, this sponsored website, has to tell you. And I'm going to debunk it all, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it all. Super simple, people. Hey, guys, I appreciate it. I hope that this series was valuable to you. I hope you learned something through it. Listen, if you have comments on it, I take criticism well. I mean, you can be as ugly as you want to. I really don't care. But hey, if there's something else, you need more information and stuff like that, you always have means of getting hold of me. Definitely comment, share this stuff. But I definitely need feedback. Was it good? Was it enough? What did you like about it? What was not good about it? I'm a little overbearing and harsh, but I just don't give a shit, people. I'm tired of listening to all the BS. I know there's a better way. I see it and I do it every day. So what I want you guys to know is have fun with your dog. Get out there and take control. The more control you have, the less control the dog does. The more things you'll do with your dog, that I can promise you. Go out, have fun, invest time, invest energy, invest technique with your dog. That makes your dog a fun part of your family. Guys, again, I'm Michael Hoskinson. This has been K9 Convos. I am K9 Control right here in the wonderful city of Mansfield, Texas. Master trainer, behavioral specialist, and yeah, we're coming back to do more. Get out there, have some fun, and enjoy your dog. Happy training.